Wait. The waiting room, if you can disable it, so can people maybe can directly they can log in.
I can't disable it while we're already active.
Okay.
But it's not going to be a big deal. So just let everyone in as they come in.
So can you see my screen now?
Yep, that's perfect.
Mr. Jason, Mr. Yusuf?
Yeah. Yep, I
Okay.
can see we're good.
Okay, great. So have you started the recording or not yet?
Someone started the recording. That might have been Yosri.
Okay, maybe it is better if we start recording when we start the actual lecture or actual workshop.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, I think like we can start, and maybe others they can join later. Okay, can you see?
So as long as it is recorded, that's great.
Yes, it's recording already.
Okay, go for it. Maybe Yosri, you could set up the meeting and explain why we're here, or Mustafa, you can do that. And
yeah, I think Mr. Yusri can start, and then I will start.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. We are so glad and so pleased like to have you today in this session, which is entitled like AI applications and use cases, as maybe one of the best ways like to move forward, like as for example students or professionals and maybe entrepreneurs to reach our goals maybe a bit faster. Like we can, best ways is to learn from successful and maybe talented people. That's why today we are so pleased and grateful to have on board some of our maybe beloved friends and experts in the field of AI, Mr. Mustafa Sadiq from Iraq, which is like a PhD graduate from Tennessee University, USA, and also we have Mr. Anwar, also like Mr. Jason, his field of expertise in the field of AI and SureTech. So we are so pleased and grateful today to have you guys. So we hope like this session is going to be fruitful and can positively contribute to your careers as maybe students or entrepreneurs or professionals. And thank you very much. If you have any question, like you can like ask question at the end of each session. Mr. Mustafa Sadiq, you can start.
Okay. Hello everyone, and thank you for being here today. I'm very grateful to be invited again by Raif Mino and Mr. Yusri to give a speech about artificial intelligence and its applications, use cases. First of all, is there any way that we can stop the alarms of waiting people in the waiting room, or turning off the audio of the other people, just to avoid any noise or distortion?
I have forced people that come in to be on mute, but everyone who is already here, please mute. Please mute your mic. You're already in the chat. But yeah, Mustafa.
Okay, I muted all.
Okay.
Mr. Jason, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yep, go for it. Thanks. Mustafa, you can proceed. You're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah, beautiful.
Okay,
Thanks.
great. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here today in this session that we hope that it will be informative and useful for everyone. As Mr. Yusri said, that it is directed or aimed to the people who are interested in starting their business or their work, their study in the field of artificial intelligence and its subfields like machine learning, deep learning, data science, and all the other related topics. As you know that this is the second session in this series where we started the first session maybe a month ago or more than that, when we talked about a roadmap to start your journey in the artificial intelligence field. Today, we will try to build on what we said there and talk about the artificial intelligence applications, use cases, the opportunities, the challenges, and the issues that face everyone who is working in this field or planning to work in this field in the future. Before starting our talk, we would like to talk a little about ourselves, so you know who we are and why we are interested in this field and what credibility that we have to talk about this interesting and important field. So I would like to start with my friend, Mr. Nawar. If you can hear me, you can introduce yourself briefly. Mr. Nawar, are you there?
Nawar might be on mute.
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Nawar,
So he
if you're on mute.
can he unmute himself? He also need to be a co-host if you can.
Okay. I don't see him in the room actually.
Mhm.
He might not have joined yet.
Okay. Maybe my fault. I didn't even ask about him. Okay. He will be joining us shortly, and he will have the second part of the lecture. So I will start by myself, and once he joins, he can start by talking about himself and then starting his part of the lecture. My name is Mustafa Sadiq, and I am from Iraq. I have a Bachelor of Science and Master of Science in Computer Engineering from the University of Basra in 2007-2010, respectively. And I have a PhD in Computer Engineering with like a specialized or dedication to wireless communications and networking from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, in the United States of America in 2020, maybe 2 years back or later. I am very interested in the field of artificial intelligence and machine learning, deep learning, and all the other subfields like data science. I have been working on this maybe for 3 or 4 years now. And I'm happy to be here with you today. My friend, Mr. Nawar, is also a researcher who is specialized and working in artificial intelligence. He is also a university lecturer in the University of Misan in my city, and he will be joining us hopefully as soon as possible. So in order not to waste your time, our agenda for today is that we will start talking about the current and the future applications of the artificial intelligence. That maybe most of you already know a little about that. Then, building on what we said before, we will talk about the challenges and opportunities that are facing the people who are working in this field. Because unlike most of the tutorials or lectures online, starting in this field and progressing and reaching an expert or professional level is not that easy. It has a lot of difficulties and problems that we will try to focus on and discuss how to avoid or like deal with these kinds of challenges and opportunities. First, we will talk about the data collection problems. How can we collect the good data to start our project and like ensure its success or ensure its continual until successful outcomes. Then we will talk about how can we manage the data storage and the security and the privacy issues, because nowadays these are like global scale problems that face a lot of companies, a lot of businesses, a lot of even individuals. Then we will talk about the artificial intelligence bias and the neutrality issues, because we see that if we depend on bad data in our training process, then we will have bad results. And there are a lot of examples of projects that got halted because of the problems in the data collection and the neutrality in the data, because there is a lot of bias, a lot of hatred, a lot of problems with the data, which will result bad results, of course. Then we will talk about an issue that is very important for a lot of people, and it has been discussed a lot of times online and in the discussion groups, is that whether the artificial intelligence is all good or there are bad sides to it. Is it coming after our jobs only, or is it even coming after our lives in the doomsday or like the Terminator or other examples? And we will see that there are a lot of misconceptions about the artificial intelligence, a lot of vague facts about the artificial intelligence, a lot of problems the people are thinking about it or even imagining about it that don't have any real part to it. And finally, we will talk a little about a glimpse to the future of the artificial intelligence and how the artificial intelligence will be a great part of our daily life in the future, actually in the near future, not even if it is not already in our life. We will start by talking about the current and the future applications of artificial intelligence that actually maybe most of us right now are using without even knowing that. Artificial intelligence have been used in search engines and the recommendation systems, whether it is web applications or mobile applications, for many years now. It has been used to improve the user experience and for customer experience, customer services. It has been used for logistics and real-time operation management. It has been used for predictive analytics, for risk management, risk analysis, and it has been used for a lot of applications that most of you, I'm sure that will think of some of them once you think about it. Okay. Some of the important applications about artificial intelligence that have been used intensively actually in the Middle East or North Africa, specifically this area, is for the logistics and the supply chain management. For human resources and other places, maybe it is less used right now, but hopefully in the future it will have a lot of other applications in this field. For the fraud detection, for the banks, for the financial institutes, for the knowledge creation, and even in the research and development process. As I said in one of the workshops recently, nowadays people using NLP, natural language processing algorithms, to train models that can read a lot of literature in a specific field, and then they can produce research gaps or even like research ideas for people. And produce books, produce tutorials, produce a lot of things that maybe humans cannot produce in the same quality or in the same efficiency. For the customer insights, for the predictive analytics, a lot of applications are already there in our cell phones, in our laptops, in our tablet, or all kinds of electronics. And as I said, a lot of them are already there, and more is coming in the future. But there is no free lunch, as they say. There is no free food. Everything comes with an expense. Everything comes with challenges and problems that we need to deal with and handle before expecting any kind of success or good results that will increase our income of our business, to reduce the expenses, improve the efficiency and the services that we provide to our customers. And this is the thing that we will try to talk about in this coming section of this lecture. Mr. Yusri, so far so good? Clear sound, video, audio?
Yes, Doctor. Go ahead, please. Everything is okay.
Okay, great. So, as I said before, thinking about artificial intelligence and all the endless possibilities that comes with it is great. Like, a lot of people are very excited about it. A lot of companies have been very excited about it, but it is not free of challenges. There are a lot of challenges that have been facing companies, individuals, researchers, and businesses in order to improve their outcomes of the artificial intelligence. In this picture that we see in the right of this slide, you see that there are 54% of enterprises and companies and businesses that are dealing with a shortage of skilled AI talented. A lot of people that are very excited about the artificial intelligence are still, unfortunately, in the basic level or in the beginning level. Only few of them will have the courage and the strength and the dedication to keep going in this field and reach professional or expert level. Unfortunately, because there are a growing number of algorithms, protocols, frameworks that are available for the artificial intelligence every day, only less and less people are caring or dedicated to reach this level of dedication and expertise that companies are looking for. So there are a lot of people who are still beginners in the AI, and there are only few people who are expert or professional, actually less than the requirements of the companies. A lot of companies are looking for talented people in the artificial intelligence that have the knowledge and the dedication and the willingness to keep studying, keep developing themselves about this topic. But unfortunately, there is shortage in the talent in this field. And this is a call for everyone listening to this workshop, either it is live or it is recorded, to go further or go ahead in this field if you want to have better opportunity of career in the future. Artificial intelligence is an open and big field that is requiring maybe tens of thousands of people who are expert in this field, and you will always have like job opportunities and a good career if you reach a specific level beyond the beginning or the basics. Also, there are 42% of enterprises that are struggling to align their goals, their business goals, with their artificial intelligence strategies. Most of the companies start by listening to this buzzword, okay, AI, let's go behind AI. And then they bring the tools, everything about the artificial intelligence, they build their team. And then after a while, maybe months or years, they stop and ask themselves, okay, do we really need artificial intelligence? Does it really worth all the costs and expenses that we spent to get this far? And unfortunately, 42% of the times the answer is no. Because in the beginning, they didn't make like a feasibility study to understand the reality of their business and the real need for artificial intelligence and whether artificial intelligence will solve any problem they have or not. In this field also, we need something that is called domain knowledge. You cannot just bring people that are programmers or coders and just collect data and start using one of the machine learning or deep learning algorithms. This is not enough. You need people who are experts in the field that you are trying to apply AI in it. And unfortunately, a lot of companies that failed to achieve their goals with artificial intelligence lacked this insight or lacked this vision of providing domain expert people who can guide the artificial intelligence like coding or engineering teams to align their business goals with the outcome of the artificial intelligence algorithms or systems. Also, you can see that there are 44% of businesses that are challenged by the data management issues. How can you govern your data? How can you acquire the data? As you will see, the first kind of problems that we will talk about the data collection problems. And how can you avoid the bias in the data? How can you ensure that you have a good data to train your models based on it and then deploy it in the real environment? Because as we say in the research labs, garbage in, garbage out. If you have bad data that you train your model on it, then of course you will have bad results, bad accuracy, and maybe a lot of problems that face a lot of systems nowadays. And finally, AI is not cheap. This is something that maybe not a lot of people will tell you about. Deploying artificial intelligence in your system, in your company, in your business is not cheap. You will need a lot of expert people who are very expensive to hire and to pay for. And you will need a lot of infrastructure improvement and continuous development and upgrade in your infrastructure, the hardware, the software. So you will spend a lot of money, and sometimes it is not easy to see the outcome, to see the results, to see the difference that AI make to your system or to your business. So you have to be very patient. You have to have a clear vision about the future of AI and your business. So maybe you will spend tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars for several years without seeing any real income or increase in your company or your business. But if you have a good plan from the beginning, and if you have a clear vision about the role of AI in your company future, then maybe after a few years, you will start seeing some difference in your income and in your user experience and the quality of services that you provide to your users. So we will talk about the data collection problems, then we will talk about the data storage, privacy and security issues, bias and the neutrality issues in the AI. And then after that, we will talk about one of the recent trends in artificial intelligence, whether it is all good or whether it will increase the jobs or it will take away our jobs. First problem that or face anyone who is working in the artificial intelligence is that collecting data is not easy all the time. You cannot always have a lot, data sets like ready and available for you. Even if you have a lot of data sets, maybe they are limited, maybe they are old, maybe they are obsolete, maybe they are biased, maybe they are bad data. So most of the times, in order to build a successful artificial intelligence, you will need to build a team that is already only dedicated to collect data based on your business goals, as we said, based you need business goal knowledge, of course. Most of the times, the pre-packaged data sets are not good enough to your business. So you will have to find another way to collect data. The data collection by itself is part of the problem, because the other part of the problem is that a lot of people are not very comfortable giving away their data, giving away their privacy. You will need more and more data, and the more data you have, the more good data you have, you will have better results. But unfortunately, the more data you have, the more risk you will put the privacy and security of people's sensitive information, and the more you will find a lot of people are not comfortable providing this kind of data. Also, there is the bias problem, because as we said, machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence in general, as algorithms or protocols or systems, they depend on data. So if the data that they are collecting from the social media or from the pictures or from the videos or anything that is related to that, that is available online, which is the biggest data store on the planet. And we know that there are a lot of people with hatred, with bias, with discrimination. Then the data that you will collect will be affected. Actually, it will be poisoned by the influence of people. And then, of course, the results will be as bad as the data that you fed to the artificial intelligence model in the first place. So this is also a problem that face a lot of people, a lot of businesses. And we saw that there were a lot of multi-billion-dollar projects that got halted because of this kind of problem, because of the bias in the data and the bias and the hatred or prejudice and the results of these systems. So as a result, or as a solution to this problem, you can collect data or assign a diverse team to collect the data. You can bring people from different backgrounds to be in one team to collect the data. So they will be more probably closer to collect data from different places, and it will be hopefully more representative of the real world and not just biased or discriminatory against some kind of people. Also, crowdsourcing can be a good solution to this problem. One of the problems that you will face in the data collection is the legal issues and the data protection issues, because as we see more and more hacking and breaching problems are facing a lot of companies around the world every day today. And we hear a lot of news about the data breaching of big companies, even the companies that are specialized in cybersecurity and information security. they themselves cannot sometimes protect themselves. So how can they protect the privacy and security of the sensitive data of other people? So this is why I said that it is not easy to convince people that their data will be safe and encourage them to willingly give their sensitive data and maybe store it in a public cloud where there is like even wider surface of attack and hacking and breaching these data. How you will collect the data, how you will store the data, how you will use the data. All of these things are still open questions, and companies have been trying very hard to convince people that their data is safe, but unfortunately, the more and more the breaches and the more and more attacks on the data every day is less and less encouraging people to participate in such systems that take their data and store it somewhere. So one of the solutions that I saw, even like specifically in the research part or the research side so far, is that all the data should be encrypted. So even if the attackers get the data, they will have a hard time decrypting the data and understand what is happening there. Some of the people that I met are working on research right now that is funded by NSF and other places, where they take the data in the collection process. They will just anonymize anything that is considered personally identifiable information, PII. Any kind of information that is related to the people, they will just anonymize it or just encrypt it with specific tool. So even if you take the data and store it in the cloud or anywhere else, and it will be breached after that, the attackers or the breachers will not be able to take advantage of this data or know sensitive information about the users. Again, one of the big problems is the cost. A lot of people are underestimating the cost of collecting data, underestimating the cost of the entire AI projects. So they will just have this idea because, okay, AI is a trend right now, so our company should have AI in all of our systems or in all of our supply chain. But then when they start the projects, the real projects, and after a lot of meetings, they will realize that it is more expensive than they expected. And then at that time, they will have this decision to make, whether to continue and spend more or stop and lose all the money that they already invested in that project. Unfortunately, a lot of companies nowadays are facing this problem, and in order to avoid this, like the experts advise that the companies should have a clear idea and the clear expectations of the artificial intelligence and how it will be used in their company, how it will be used in their business, and not start spending a lot of money before being able, at least that the probability of success will be more than the probability of failure. This will be for the data collection problems part. About the data storage and the cloud storage and the difference between them, before starting with that, I just want to make sure that the sound is clear and the video is clear so far. Mr. Yusri?
Yes, everything is fine.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Okay. And how about Mr. Nawar? Did he join us or not?
Yes, he already joined us.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay. So for the data storage and data management, as we said that in order to make sure that you will have good data and to make sure that the people will be willingly ready to share their data with you, you need to have the best data management environment for the sensitive data. And this is not always feasible. This is not always available actually to a lot of businesses, a lot of people, because if you try to save all the data in your local storage, this will not be enough. This will not be efficient, especially if you have like tens of thousands of users or even millions of users. Then you will like eventually go to the cloud, and most of the time it is public cloud. So your data will be in the open, even if it is encrypted, even if it is secured by the company. But as I said, we read about the breaches every day, and like millions of records of data from all kinds of companies. So no one is safe from that. So in order to reduce the probability of hacking or attacking or leaking your data, you need to have the best management, data management protocols, procedures, and regulations and compliance with all the regulations in your country or worldwide. Hopefully that it will reduce the probability of breaching your data or reduce the probability that the attackers will take advantage of this data. But again, there is no guarantee of 100% about all of this. So there is always this risk that you have to take if you are willing to take advantage of the benefits that the artificial intelligence is providing to us. Of course, if you put your data in the cloud, then it should be encrypted. And the encryption of the data in the cloud, whether it is on the move or it is like at rest, is that you will ensure that around the clock data protection, of course, mitigating the insider threats, because sometimes the data breaches are not just by outsider actors or threats. Sometimes it is just an employee that is very angry with his company who will breach the data. Sometimes it is just a previous employee who lost his job and he still has some credentials that he can access some sensitive data, so he will take it and sell it on the black market or dark web or somewhere else. So by having data encrypted, you will even mitigate the insider threats. Of course, encrypting the data will overcome the problems and the risks that comes from insecure APIs, application programming interfaces, because the more data you have, the more people will have access to the data, and the more problems you will face if it is not well encrypted and protected. By encrypting your data that is saved in the cloud, you will maintain your organizational integrity. You will ensure protection for multiple devices and multiple services. And of course, you will guarantee compliance with the worldwide regulations and data protection acting documents in your country or worldwide. The other problem that faces artificial intelligence systems is the AI bias and the neutrality issues. And I already talked a little about that. In order to make sure that your results are good, you need a good quality of data. Good quality of data will improve your results, of course. If you don't have good quality data, then your company will face a lot of problems, and even you will have to shut down the entire project or the entire system if you face some kind of results that is discriminatory or prejudice, or it has racial or gender bias or communal or ethical biases that faced a lot of problems, especially the bots that was developed by Yahoo or other companies, or even the Twitter, because they started posting racial or discriminatory tweets or posts that they had to take it down, because it was already fed by depending on the crowdsourcing from the internet. And we know that there are a lot of people who already have these problems, so they will poison on any kind of data. So you need to be able to avoid this kind of bias and ensure neutrality. One of the solutions to such a problem is that people are now talking about what is called XAI, which is explainable artificial intelligence. You need to be able to explain all steps that is taken by the model, artificial intelligence model, before deploying it to the people, before deploying it in the real environment, in order to avoid any kind of such problems of bias or racial discrimination or any kind of injustice treatment of people. Of course, the bias of the artificial intelligence has a lot of different types. Some of them are based on the sample bias, where you just collect data that is representing a specific part of the people, whether it is prejudice bias, whether it is measurement bias, algorithm bias, exclusion bias. Some of it about the historical bias or the aggregation bias, confirmation bias, evaluation. Some of these types of bias will be talked about by my friend Nawar. and after he introduced himself. So, Mr. Nawar, if you can hear me, the ground is yours. You can go ahead and introduce yourself and then talk about the other parts of the lecture. Mr. Nawar, can you hear me? Mr. Nawar?
Oh, sorry. Is it okay now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Mustafa Sadiq. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for your attendance at this webinar. And thanks to Redemino for having us in this webinar. Also, it's my honor to be among you, Dr. Mustafa, Mr. Aline, and Mr. Bin Saleh. I think I spelled it correctly. Bin Saleh. Yes?
Yes, Yusri, yes.
Yes, okay. I'm Nawar Al-Silawi, a professor in the Engineering College of the University of Misan in Iraq, a computer engineer and an AI researcher and a certified trainer. Thank you again. And I will continue with this presentation. As Dr. Mustafa mentioned earlier, these concerns or these challenges of data collecting is quite real and important. And the most important of them, in my opinion, of course, is the AI data bias. There's some types of AI bias, but before I'm talking about these types, consider that training a machine learning model is like bringing up a child. When the child develops, he uses senses like hearing, vision, touch, etc., to learn from the world around him. His understanding of the world and his opinions, his decisions, his perspectives, he makes all and influenced by his upbringing. For example, a child that grows up and lives in a sexist community may never realize there's anything biased about how he views different genders, right? Machine learning models are exactly the same. Instead of using senses as inputs and interacting with them according to each case separately, machine learning models use data. Which data? Data that we give them. So this is why it's so important to avoid bias in the training data. What is historical bias? Historical bias occurs when gathering historical data. Gathering historical data is always the easiest thing to do when it comes to data collecting. Historical data means the data that has been gathered throughout the years and using it to train the AI model. Historical data sometimes generates historical bias, sometimes, not always. Of course, if you are not careful. For example, sorry, Dr. Mustafa, the share is with you now. Ah, okay. Okay, let me share. Yes, I'm taking control now. Is it okay for now?
Yeah, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. As I said, for an example of historical bias, in 2014, Amazon company built an AI system. This AI system was built for a purpose. The purpose is to check and select job applicants. The idea was to feed the system with hundreds of applicants' CVs and select the top candidate automatically. The system was trained on historical data, which was job applications and their results over 10 years. So where was the problem? The problem is, for 10 years, most employees at Amazon were male. So the algorithm learned that because there were more men at Amazon than women, so men are more suitable for jobs at Amazon than women. And that is a bias. That bias appeared in the algorithm due to historical data. For that, Amazon canceled the entire project in 2015. That was an example of historical bias. The second type of sample bias is sample bias happens when the training data does not accurately reflect the application of the model in the real world. For example, when you want to train a speech-to-text system, you need lots of audio clips along with their transcriptions. By the way, Mr. Yusri, can I ask for something if this session was recorded? If there's an Arabic translation transcription will attach to this recording when it published on YouTube or any other platform. Is it possible for that?
Is recording, but like for the translation and interpretation, actually, like we can see
Yeah, it's require editing.
best. Like, yeah.
Okay. So you want to design and train a speech-to-text system, and you need data to train that system. The easiest way or the better place to get these data, and by data I mean audio clips with their transcriptions. So you think the better place to get lots of these data, the audiobooks, right? Well, it turns out the vast majority of audiobooks are narrated by white men. Well-educated and middle-aged white men. So there's no surprise. The performance of that system will be weak when the user is from different race or economic or ethnic background. That is a bias. A bias resulted from biased data, biased samples. The third type of AI bias is label bias. Many data require labeling before putting them in the AI algorithm. Actually, we all did this many times. Maybe you remember when you log into a website, sometimes you've been asked to pass a CAPTCHA test. This CAPTCHA test, which includes, for example, identifying and clicking the squares that contain traffic lights. Actually, now you are doing the labeling process that helps in training visual recognition system and auto-drive cars and many AI traffic-related applications. Labeling can cause bias. For example, imagine you want to design a system to identify lions. Then you do labeling on these pictures using these small boxes around their faces. Then you train your system on these pictures. Okay, what will happen then if you show your system this picture? The system will not recognize the very obvious line in this picture because you labeled faces only. then you made your system biased toward front-facing lines only. So for that, that is a labeling bias. Aggregation bias, sometimes we aggregate data from collection of data to simplify it or to present it in a specific form. That can lead to a bias, regardless of whether it happens before or after creating our model. For example, we can take a look on this chart. This chart represents how salary increases over years in job. This matches actually the common sense, because the longer you work, the more you get paid, right? Now, let's look at this left chart, which is the data that used to create the right side chart. We can notice from the blue line, the sport field, the complete opposite is true. Athletes tend to get less and less salary over years of their career. They are able to earn high salaries early in their career while they are still in their physical peak, but the salary then drops off. These lines and these data with each other and aggregating the sports line with other professions, we are making our algorithm biased against them. So that is aggregation bias. Confirmation bias actually is our leaning to trust information that confirms our existing beliefs or discard information that doesn't go along with our beliefs. This is actually inescapable because each and every one of us tends to bias to his or her beliefs. For example, I can build the most accurate machine learning system ever without bias, neither the data or the modeling. But if you are doing the review or you are checking the results of that system, so you are going to change the results based on your own instinct or let me say gut feeling. So it doesn't matter. Confirmation bias appears mostly in machine learning applications where human review is needed. Let us take another example. If there is an AI application of healthcare and a human doctor must review the diagnosis of the application, then the doctor will discard any diagnosis made by the application that doesn't match with his own experience. Although maybe the doctor is well experienced and very good doctor, but he hasn't read all recent researches, which points to slightly different symptoms. So because one doctor cannot read all research literature and the algorithm can do that easily, that will result or will produce a confirmation bias. The last one is evaluation bias. Evaluation bias, imagine you are building a machine learning model to predict voting turnout across the country during a general election. You are hoping that by taking by taking a series of features like age, profession, income, political alignment, you can accurately predict whether someone will vote or not. That is the plan. So you build your model, use your local election to test it out, and you are really pleased with your results. But then the results, well, actually turns out that the prediction was correct and the percentage of that results was 95 correct results of the time. But when the date of the general election approaches, you are suddenly very disappointed. The model you spent ages designing, testing, inspection was only correct 55 of the time. Why was that happen? This percentage is only slightly better than a random guess. So what's wrong? The poor results are an example of evaluation bias. By only evaluating your model on people in your local area, actually you have unintentionally designed a system that only works well for them, only for them. Other areas of your country with totally different voting pattern haven't been properly accounted for, even if they were included in your initial training data. So the evaluation bias appears. That was the types of AI bias. There are many other challenges facing enterprises and companies that want to start the AI plans. One of them is privacy and security issues. There are many regulations and constraints regarding privacy and security. AI applications and continuous conflict among enterprises and governments and users. The meaning of the concept of privacy has proven to be fairly elusive. So people concerns about privacy mostly vague and not accurate. This makes it difficult to address these concerns because it's a vague area. And to explain the way in which AI technologies do or do not pose the threats to people's interests. So that is one of the challenges and concerns that faces company or AI developers. Although the previous issues are well known, yet they are not the only issues that face AI applications, or let me say, true AI applications. Some other issues include infrastructure, where most organizations still rely on old or out-of-date infrastructures or applications, which is quite a real challenge. Also, AI integration in current businesses environments, computations demands, specialized skill set, expensive and rare experts, legal issues, and explainability. Explainability, this last one, the human nature can trust only things that are easily understood. One of the critical AI implementation challenges is the unknown nature of how deep learning models can predict the output and generate a solution for a problem. Well, this leads us to the most interesting yet very important question, which is AI coming after our jobs or our lives? Well, these concerns have risen since the 50s of the 20th century, when the well-known world-class Russian-American author and scientist Isaac Asimov published his book, I, Robot, which is a science fiction novel in which Isaac Asimov, because Newton is way more famous than Asimov, so I used his name. Anyway, in this novel, I, Robot, Isaac Asimov tells the story of AI taking over control of human life, including economy and military, etc. Also, in this novel, Asimov coined the famous 3 laws of robotics that these laws ensure at least the AI will not harm us or rise against us. Of course, when it will become a true AI and become aware of itself or its superiority. These 3 rules are now taken seriously in the field of AI and robotics. But is the threat real? Is it serious? Well, in the aspect of coming after our lives or AI being dangerous to the human race, it is so far right now from being real. Why? Because until now, we don't have the technology of creating a true AI that can think the same way we think. For that matter, currently we cannot even simulate a mouse brain with all its connections and neuron reactions and so on. But in the matter of will AI take over our jobs? Well, here's a different answer. Because the rely on AI has been increased recently to do many jobs. And that because AI costs way less than a human operator. And its performance or its robot cannot, for now at least, be affected by the things that affect people. Like, for example, emotions, laziness, exhaustion, and so on. Although that situation doesn't mean the human jobs will vanish completely, because we still need people to operate, to design, to train, to test AI algorithms. And for that, new jobs and specialties will be increased and created in the name of AI. And if we took a glimpse of our future with AI, then for me at least, the future is so bright. And I can say that we live in it already. Everything will be impacted. And it has been impacted for a few years now already. With AI, all of our life ways will change, and how we deal with our daily life will be altered radically. Now we see and hear about things and new technologies like self-driving cars, AI defense systems, AI applications in social media, face recognition and detection, AI chatbots, and deepfake applications, and etc. Even in art, can you believe this painting is generated entirely by AI? And not only that, it wins the Colorado State Fair art contest. So AI is truly like magic. Everything is possible. Now, with AI, the possibility is limitless. How will that affect us? Well, AI can build a better future for us. With AI, we can make safer roads. We can make better healthcare. We can improve ourselves, our people, our cities, and our countries. AI is a real-world, non-comic superpower. Its possibilities are endless, but so are the challenges. And I can quote Uncle Ben from Spider-Man movie, as he said, with a great power comes a great responsibility. Thanks for watching. I hope I didn't take too much of your time. And if there are any questions, then I or any of the respective speakers will be pleasure to answer. Thank you. And the mic is yours, Mr. Yusri.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Mustafa and Mr. Nawar, for your affirmative presentation. We are grateful for you, and we are proud to have you today on this session. So actually, maybe like maybe short presentation to showcase how I use AI. I used AI in my research, like in computer vision. But maybe like first, maybe we can give opportunity for our students and our audience, maybe if they have some question related to what they have just like shown right now. So any question for our audience? If you have any question, feel free to ask. And also Mr. Jason, like we are looking for your comments and your contribution. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Mustafa, please, and Mr. Nawar, if you can share the PPT, because one of our audience is asking for that, maybe have some question related to your PPT.
Mr. Yusri, I think they mean sharing the file with them after
the file. Yes,
lecture.
yes, not
Okay.
the presentation.
Okay.
Okay, after the webinar, we can do that.
Recording in progress.
Unfortunately, I think Mr. Jason has left us, and he only had one hour, and maybe he just left the meeting. So if there are any questions or participations, we are happy to have it.
Well, I have a question for you, Doctor.
Okay, go ahead.
Shoot it.
Yes, go ahead.
For the next 100 years,
Mhm.
what you see in the aspect of AI, will it develops to a level that we can control it, or a level that that will makes us at least a galactic species? I mean, this this question is merging between AI and the next step of human evolution. So, do you think that AI will have a big part of human evolution, or it will become a self-dependent thing that we rely on?
Okay, that's a great question. Maybe that's the $1 million question, if we know the answer specifically. A lot of pioneering people in this field have been debating about this for many years now. A lot of them believe the first option
اي نونو كل ساعه يطلعوا راح حوالين منصور
Okay, go ahead, Doctor. Dr. Mustafa, do you hear me?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I was muted with everyone else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
So, yes, personally, I'm very optimistic about the future of AI and how it will be useful for the human race. And it will, yes, as you mentioned, it will take us to the galaxies beyond our galaxy. But only if it was used by the right people, because right now, and for the right reasons. We know that from human history that always, as you mentioned, with a great power comes a great responsibility. But unfortunately, not everyone who is using the AI or planning to use the AI will be very responsible. So I am optimistic about the future, but I always have my concerns that maybe one mistake will cost us everything.
So the danger is not from AI. It's
Yes,
from NI.
yes, of course. from humans who will not be responsible enough to use it for the good of humanity.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Mr. Yusri, you mentioned that you have something to share with us, right? Mr. Yusri, are you still with us?
Can you hear me?
There's someone raising his hand.
Oh, okay.
And there is an echo in your sound, Mr. Yusri.
Samsung.
Okay. We think we have someone who want to ask question.
Yes,
Please
yes, go ahead.
go ahead. You can unmute yourself and you ask. Or if you want, like you can type in the chat box.
Good afternoon, Dr. Mustafa, and hope you are doing well.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Dr. Mustafa, could you give us a brief details about the map reducer and when we can use it?
Map reducer. First of all, can you please introduce yourself? So we
My name is Karrar. I'm an electrical engineer.
Okay.
From Amara.
Amara. Okay. From our city. Welcome, Mr. Karrar.
Yeah.
So honestly, I have not been working on this before, but if you contact me after the lecture, I can give you like good details about it or where to start from this point. May I ask you, where are you planning to use this? Is it for research or
actually
graduation project?
I'm
or what?
in the degree of master. I'm now research.
Oh, okay. For your research.
Yeah, for my research because I'm working on power management in IoT.
Power management and IoT. Okay, so I think Mr. Nawar might have an idea about that. I don't know. Mr. Nawar, do you have any idea about this topic?
Yes, I heard the question, and map reducer actually there's many of algorithms that used for that purpose. Each algorithm is different from another in the way that and the type of data that you are going to use to train your system. For a brief details, actually cannot be just the definition of map reducer. You want a roadmap, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the roadmap is about explaining in written details, not in chat or voice webinar. So as Dr. Mustafa said, after the webinar, you can contact me or Dr. Mustafa, and I can provide you with many good resources and places to start with.
Many thanks. Many thanks.
Okay, we have a question.
Thank you.
You are most welcome.
Okay, we have a question from Mr. Zayghum Malik. So, okay, let me unmute. Mr. Malik, you can unmute yourself. Or maybe you can write your question in the chat box. Okay, you can write your question in the chat box, like Mr.
Hello,
Mustafa.
do you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
now he is
yes.
unmuted.
Good evening. You can hear me, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay,
go ahead.
great. Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Nawar and Mr. What was there? Okay.
Mustafa.
Now,
Mr. All right. So I heard your presentation, and I think it was really great to know. I do have a lot of understanding about AI, but recently I started working for security things, network security, and my question is how we can implement the AI if we want to work on security side, for example, threat handling or mitigating the risks on our networks. How we can work with the AI, how it will be helpful. Thanks.
Okay, I can take this question. So thank you for your question. Right now, actually, there are a lot of appliances and devices that are specialized for security, like the next generation firewalls and the unified threat management that are already using the artificial intelligence to develop their way of dealing with cybersecurity threats. So they collect a lot of information. They collect everything about the network and try to understand the patterns that are behind all kinds of transmitting and receiving all kinds of transactions that is happening or going through the firewall. That is usually on the perimeter or the edge of the network, and they can detect signatures of the attacks, even if they are not fed by the company itself through an update or a patch or something like that. There are a lot of algorithms that are already in place in a lot of devices, as I said. And even the antiviruses that once depended only on the signatures or the well-known scripts or codes that are detect the malicious softwares in general or malwares, nowadays are using also AI algorithms to detect the threats based on the collected information, and even sometimes predicting the attacks or threats before they happen, and prevent some of the zero-day attacks. So this has been used also in the same way that also all the machine learning algorithms happen by collecting data, by using some of the AI algorithms or machine learning algorithms, deep learning, and then detect the by just dividing the traffic into two types, whether it is benign or malicious. I hope that this answers your question. And if you need more information about this, also you can, as I said before, you can contact us after the lecture, and I will give you some of the research and some of the open source algorithms that are working on this matter. Okay, thank you. I will type my Facebook account in the chat box, so you can contact me there.
Any more question, guys?
Yeah, also I think just for enriching Dr. Mustafa answer.
Yeah, go ahead, yes.
I think security is also a vague concept that we do not understand it fully. people or the companies, enterprises that work in security numbers and only algorithms. Security is not of how to move, let's say, I think I lost the connection.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Noor, go ahead, please. We can hear you.
I'm sorry for that inconvenience. Okay, so the security is not just about moving or transmitting and receiving data from one place to another, because that is well established, and the research on foot on that matter for using encryption methods like AES, DES, present, and the rigid encryption methods that are used now worldwide. But there's another aspect of security of AI applications, which is how the AI algorithm or the AI model or even the AI system will deal with the data that gathered from users and the training data itself. Because this is a very big concern that how the companies or how the AI model will ensures the security and integrity of the data that's being used. For that, there's no standard way. I think, for my own knowledge, this matter is not standardized yet, and I think Dr. Mustafa agrees with me in that aspect, because there's no standalone algorithm for encryption of the data that's being used and ensuring that the AI system will not use it in the wrong way. So this field is by itself is a separate and dependent field of research. So there are many researchers now focusing on the only securing and security of training data and the data that used by AI system and the data that resulted by AI system. So that's what I was want to say. And thank you, Dr. Mustafa, and thank you, Mr. Malik, for your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Noor. Yeah, we have like maybe a couple of questions. Yeah, so maybe let's be more practical. Like we have maybe one question from one of our audience. What he said: what are the requirements to be AI expert, and where can I find a job on AI field? Actually, maybe it's so practical and basic, like questions, and maybe this maybe session is a bit advanced in the field of AI, but maybe they have like some maybe students who have joined us for the first time, and this is maybe the first time that they came across AI in such field. Maybe if we can maybe make it a bit simple for them, and if you can reply to their question, what are the requirements to be AI experts, and where can I find a job, and maybe why I should learn AI?
Okay, I will start, and then maybe Mr. Nawar can add to that. I think that most of these questions have been already answered in our first session about the roadmap for AI, but there's no problem in repeating the same things. First of all, the field of artificial intelligence is very wide and has a lot of subfields inside it. And in order to work in any of these fields, you need to understand, or you need to specify where are you planning to work? What are the things you are planning to work on? What are the requirements of the marketplace? So you can work as a data engineer, you can work as a data scientist, you can work as a machine learning engineer, you can work on the deep learning as a deep learning engineer, you can work on the data cleaning, data visualization, any job title that is related to the artificial intelligence, and there are actually tens of them nowadays. All of them are required, all of them are important to the process of artificial intelligence. Usually, no one can build an entire AI project by himself or herself. There should be like a teamwork, and the team should have the machine learning engineer, the deep learning engineer, the data collector, or the data collection team, as we said in the beginning of this session. There should be a data scientist, there should be a data engineer, that is responsible for deciding how to collect the data, what data are useful and important for your project. There should be a domain knowledge, the people who are very expert in the field that you want to work on. So if you want to apply the artificial intelligence on the cybersecurity, you need to have an expert in cybersecurity in order to apply the artificial intelligence in the like manufacturing of cars. You need to have like an expert in the car manufacturing industry itself, and he or she should be part of the team to develop the artificial intelligence project. Where can you work with the AI expertise? You can work in the banks for the fraud detection. You can work in the any kind of factories or industries that build some products or provide some services to people, where they collect a lot of information, a lot of data, and you can work on it to provide better insights, better value. Because this is like in brief, the value of AI, the value of machine learning, deep learning, is to generate data-driven decisions and to provide better services and products for people based on the collected data. I think this is like just in brief.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. We have two people. We have Mr. Nasir. He raised his hand, and also Samsung. So feel free to unmute yourself, Mr. Samsung. He raised his hand first. So feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Mr. Yusri, have you shared your screen or?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Farhan and the other one who have raised his hands, feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question. Otherwise, like, you can type it in the chat box.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, I am Dr. Nasser from Southern Technical University, from Nasriya.
Welcome, Doctor.
Okay. I have one question for Dr. Nawar.
Yes.
He already mentioned about the BIOS.
Yes.
So how can we reduce? You already mentioned about the different kind of from the BIOS. So how can we reduce this BIOS? Because we'll affect about the prediction and the final results for the when we try retraining the model, and we have the bias from the data or historical, as you mentioned. So how can we reduce this bias? Just one question.
Okay, thank you, Doctor, and it's my pleasure to answer you of that question. Actually, bias is something unavoidable because it comes from our nature. We are all biased, and as we design, the designers of AI systems, so our biases will reflect on the choosing the right data to train system. Is it possible to eliminate bias? No. The answer, no, for now at least, but it is possible to reduce or minimize the bias to the minimum level. There are many techniques actually to avoid or to reduce bias. Some of them are lies in the field of what they call social engineering, to hire very skilled and specialized people in data collecting teams And by choosing the variety of ethnics and races and from different cultures in that team, in those teams, to ensure that there's no some tens of bias will grow exponentially. Another way, or another famous way to reduce bias is by, as Dr. Mustafa mentioned earlier, explainable AI or XAI, which means that all the data that has been used to train the AI model and the data that resulted from the AI model must be explained, and the algorithm itself must be explained in details and simple ways. So the people or the team or the reviewer of the training data and the resulted data will detect the bias if it occurred. So these technologies or these methods are well used now in companies and enterprises, and their performance is so far so good right now, because actually until now we don't deal with a huge data set, because our algorithms and our models, even the big enterprises, when they design an AI model, they use a set of data is not big enough to show the a bias that will affect seriously the outcome of the model. While increasing and while the AI models develops and the AI applications become bigger and bigger, the bias will become a serious problem. So while doing that and detecting the problems of AI bias, the research and research literature is now on foot to develop new ways and new methods to eliminate, not just reducing, eliminate the AI bias. Thank you, Doctor, for your question, and I hope I answered it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Nawar. Okay, we have another question from Huawei. So, how can I find an opportunity for doctoral thesis subject, a supervisor or laboratory in the field, in the AI field, since I am in the process of registering for the doctorate? I think she's Talbi Amal. Yeah, she's a master degree researcher in electrical engineer.
I think I can answer this question.
Okay, go
how
ahead.
can I find an opportunity for a doctoral thesis dissertation, a subject in the field, since I am in the process of registering for a doctorate? Well, the short answer is Google. The long answer is finding the trends and the trend topics and the recent idea, modern idea for a doctorate is not a big challenge now in AI field. Why is that? Because AI is still new, and a new territory opens all possibilities. For example, when the Spanish invaded the continent of America, they saw a land with infinite possibilities. So they established something new every decade or even every year. Finding the right article or the right topic or the right field to research, in my opinion, is especially in AI field, is somehow easy because there's no full formed algorithm. There's no complete work, has no flaws. So in every and I mean every research and every proposed method for developing some aspect of AI, you will find that there's something missing. So you can detect that the missing thing and work on it in doctorate or in master degree. So doctor, just go ahead, do some research on the topics and the fields, the main fields of AI, and AI rich of tens of minor disciplinaries and minor fields that you can choose one of them and go with it. And you will find after reading 3 or 4 papers, I guarantee you will find the right problem, and then all you have to do is to find the right solution. Thank you, and I hope I answered your question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nawar. Maybe I can add something here. First, let me see if the Amal, she's still with us or not. Okay, I think she's still with us. Okay, anyway, maybe I can add something here. Of course, like when you're, I think she's looking for opportunity for a PhD in the field of AI. So obviously, like you can use Google, like you can use LinkedIn, of course. Maybe I assume it's the best way to find. And I can add something like maybe we can help. You can reach out to us. Maybe we can help you, like to connect you with research lab here in China. It's so promising. Here in China, we can help you to connect with and to find like PhD opportunity here in China. As you know, like China, was like the border was closed, but now like students are coming back. I even like have some friends who are coming this week. So I think it's a great opportunity like to apply. So I can drop my email and you can reach out to me and I can maybe help you, especially in the field of computer vision, something like that. And I would recommend you to search about this field, AI application in computer vision. Yeah. Okay, Amal, like you can reach out to me. We can maybe help you. This is my email. Any other question, guys?
Well, I think there was a comment from Mr. Aline earlier in the chat box. Yes, there it is. He said, Dr. Mustafa, are you with me? No?
Yes, I am here.
Mr. Aline said, currently, most AI is pattern recognition only. Truly impactful business AI is very rare, and this remains a very open business opportunity. This comment actually caught my eyes because the sentence, currently most AI is pattern recognition only. So truly impactful business AI is very rare. I think the sentence is complete. So if you have a comment on this comment.
Oh, okay. Yes. Actually, it is very interesting, and I was eager to like listen to his talk after us to like clarify this statement. But I can relate to that. I can see why he is saying that. Previously, as you said, as you watched in my YouTube channel, I explained 2 courses. One of them called pattern recognition, and the other one is called machine learning. A lot of people believe that the previous, like the original algorithms of machine learning were called pattern recognition since the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. They were all called pattern recognition. But now, with the development of new technologies, they are starting to call it machine learning by the addition of neural networks and deep neural networks, artificial neural networks, and etc. So yes, most of the algorithms that are being deployed in industrial fields or businesses that are considered artificial intelligence are usually statistical analysis models that are depending on statistics and probability to the most part of it. And the models that are depending on the deep learning, like the deep neural networks, are still very rare because of the huge amount of data that they require and the huge amount of computation, huge amount of supercomputers that can deal with such a huge amount of information. So yes, we still are in the beginning of the AI, and as mentioned in the presentation, there are still a lot of challenges and problems with these projects. Unfortunately, as I said, even the big companies have been spending billions of dollars on artificial intelligence projects, and only some of them are seeing real results, real value. The others are still struggling to make the ends meet, as they say, and it is still ambiguous road ahead. There is no clear path that everyone can just follow and reach their goals. But as most of the people agree, this is the only path ahead. We cannot keep depending on the human developed equations or algorithms or etc., because all of the systems and the businesses and the engineering and the science are getting more and more complicated, that they have a lot of hidden and embedded dependencies that only machines can detect. So AI is the only way ahead, but it still needs a lot of work to reach the level of dependability that we are all looking for. Mr. Nawar, are you still here?
Yes.
Do you have any comment or follow up on this?
Well, actually, I think there's not a clear idea about what AI is. Some people, I'm not talking about specialized people or experts, professionals in AI, but most of people, when you say AI, they think of Terminator.
Yes.
And think about some robot can feel and can love and doing what we do as a human. But to actually they are right, and this idea is not faulty, and it's not wrong, because AI is an artificial intelligence designed to mimic or simulate human or natural intelligence. The whole reason, the entire reason for inventing AI is to help human to do work or to do things that human don't want to do anymore or cannot do anymore, or they do it but in a lousy way, a messy way, and affected by many factors that affect human and their judgment or of things. So AI designed to simulate or to become like a human intelligence. For that matter, a human intelligence is all about pattern recognition. If you think about it, we use our senses, the 5 essential senses, hearing, vision, and touching, and smelling, and tasting. These senses taking inputs from the outside world, from the world that's around us, and we enter to our system, and they interpret it by our brains into signals that can make us take decisions according to these signals. So if you touch a hot pot, you will move away from it. If you saw something beautiful, you will generate a good feeling. If you smell a good smell, then you will crave for eating or something. These decisions are made by analyzing the signals and processing it and making decision according to these signals. The way that make our decisions is comes from our learning patterns and our instincts and our feelings that grows with us when we were children and built up in our personalities and in our humanity, if I say, to make us more experts in dealing with outside world signal. So if we can recognize the patterns of a smell, for example, or a pattern for beauty, who can define the beauty? The beauty is that a pattern that our eyes will transfer this signal to our brain, and our brain will decide what we see is beautiful. So the pattern make us or made us take the decision. Also, the patterns of sound waves, the pattern of smell, the pattern of moving or transferring the heat signal from an object to our body. All about pattern. The key is to distinguish these patterns and to decide according to them. So AI is pattern recognition only, because in first place, it needs to recognize the patterns from the signals or the data that we give it the AI model or the AI system, because the AI model must recognize the tendency of the data, where it comes, from where it comes, where it goes. That line or that concept of seeing the data as a whole is a pattern recognition. So yes, designing AI models on the basis of pattern recognition is the key of producing AI systems that successful and perform well. So that's what I want to say. And if you agree with me, doctor, tell me, please.
I think it's debate.
Yeah, here is a bias.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Nawar, you are really like a mentor and good student at the same time. Actually, I see like how eager you are, like you are like asking your question and you want to learn more. And yeah, I really appreciate that.
Because we all learn in the field of AI.
Yes, yes, sure. Okay, guys, like maybe the time is running out. If you have any question.
Yeah, I think most of the people already left the meeting, and
yeah, now we have 50% of our audience.
Yes. So I will take this opportunity to thank everyone to attend, and hopefully maybe Mr. Yusri that the next workshop will be more specialized, specifically maybe for the research in the AI, the research opportunities. What are the research gaps? What are the real or the recent trends in the AI projects, at least for the MSc and PhD students? Because as I saw that you can connect people with the pioneering universities in China about the AI. Hopefully the people who are looking for MSc or PhD opportunities And
Yes.
maybe we can help with that by talking about the recent trends in the research fields in the artificial intelligence and its subcategories. Maybe this will be useful for the students who are looking for writing their research proposals or like suggest any topics for their advisors or professors. So maybe the next session will be about that, if Mr. Nawar is okay with that. And also Mr. Jason, but we are still eager to hear from him, maybe in the future.
Yes, it's a very
Yes,
good idea,
yes.
doctor. And I'm totally in.
Okay, that's great.
So I warmly would like to thank you, Dr. Mustafa.
Yeah,
and Dr.
guys, yeah.
Yes, of course, yes.
Thank you very much. Like, we are really grateful, and we are really happy like to have you today on board. Maybe for those who don't know, maybe Mr. Mustafa and Nawal, but they really have like a great contribution, like as you can see, like from the social media. So I recommend everyone of you like to follow them. Yes, it will. I think somehow they can contribute positively on your maybe career. Anyway, so thank you. Thanks for our audience for joining us today, and thanks for our experts, Mr. Jason, Mr. Mustafa, Mr. Nawar, and we are looking forward like more and future fruitful sessions about AI, about Python and so on. We are I just want to say that we are nearly to unveil like LMS, learning management system, that the students they can use it like to learn like AI with Dr. Mustafa and Dr. Nawar and so on. So let's stay tuned, guys, and see you soon. Stay safe and good luck. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you, and
Okay,
bye-bye.
bye bye.